Black Panther 2 is coming out in about a month, so I figured I should answer the question, is Black Panther 1 worth watching? And the answer is yes, you should watch this movie. The main reason you should watch this movie has less to do with the quality of the movie itself, but with the zeitgeist associated with this film. As most Marvel fans know, Chadwick Boseman, the actor who plays Black Panther, passed away some years ago. Black Panther is his first and only titled film as the Black Panther. As the first black superhero to get his own movie in the MCU, his influence was immense. Black Panther was a cultural phenomenon, a huge financial success, and created a huge fan base for Boseman and the Black Panther character. With the coming of Black Panther 2, the sequel, and its preliminary trailers, it is clear that this movie will not shy away from Boseman's death and face it straight on, not recasting the character but letting him die within the MCU. This reminds me a lot of the approach taken by the Fast and the Furious franchise regarding Paul Walker's death. Instead of recasting or avoiding the subject altogether, the franchise took the death straight on, with the last 5 or so minutes of Furious 7 being a fourth wall-breaking goodbye to the audience, commemorating the time Walker spent playing this character. It was moving, and in the same way, watching Black Panther 1, knowing Boseman's death adds meaning to the film that wasn't there when I first watched it. Taken on its own, Black Panther is still a decent movie, though it follows closely the formulaic structure long established by Marvel superhero movies. The film does add its own flourishes, but it does so to the skeleton of a generic Marvel superhero film. The strongest parts of Black Panther 1 is the world building. It seems that the primary goal in this movie is simply to convey Wakanda to the audience. Every scene that takes place in Wakanda is thoughtfully and carefully designed, from the architecture to the clothes to the culture of Wakanda. It's clear that a lot of thought was put into fully fleshing out what this fictional nation would look like. One weakness this film has is the uneven application of special effects. The final fight scene most notably has some of the worst special effects I've ever seen in a Marvel movie. I later read in an article that it was a known problem during production and was due to time constraints. Overall, this is still a good movie that does a great job at introducing fans to the nation of Wakanda. It is certainly one of the more political and socially aware films in the MCU, so if you can't tolerate any discussion about politics or race, this film might not be for you. If you'd like to know more about this movie, here is a quick and dirty recap and explanation of the plot. Much of this movie picks up from the events of Captain America: Civil War. In that movie, the King of Wakanda, a fictional African nation, was killed in a terrorist attack. His eldest son, T'Challa, must now succeed him as the next king of Wakanda. Additionally, T'Challa also happens to be the Black Panther, the superpowered symbol and protector of Wakanda. The opening scene starts in 1992 Oakland, California. The King of Wakanda meets with a local Wakandan spy to inform him that there has been an attack on Wakanda by a man named Claw, and that an insider gave him information. The scene ends with the king asking the spy why he has betrayed Wakanda. Cut back to present-day Africa, where T'Challa returns for his coronation. We get a few scenes that convey Wakanda as perhaps the most technologically advanced country on the planet. The reason Wakanda is so powerful is because it sits on the largest deposit of vibranium on the planet. Vibranium is a fictional interstellar metal that is nearly indestructible and has innumerable scientific applications. However, the rest of the world has no idea, as Wakanda has presented itself as a third world country with little power and influence. The Wakandan coronation ceremony allows the heads of the local tribes of Wakanda to challenge T'Challa for the throne through ritual combat before being crowned king. It is then that M'Baku of the Jabari tribe shows up and challenges T'Challa. T'Challa's superpowers come from a heart-shaped herb, and he depowers before the challenge. The two fight and T'Challa wins, becoming the king. M'Baku is spared and survives. After being crowned king, information reaches T'Challa that Claw, the man behind the attack on Wakanda in 1992, has resurfaced. T'Challa heads over to Busan, South Korea to infiltrate an underground casino and capture Claw, who is selling vibranium he stole during the attack. They get into a big fight scene followed by a car chase and eventually capture him. They take Claw to a local CIA station thanks to a friendly CIA agent. Unfortunately, some armed attackers attack the station and free Claw. T'Challa returns to Wakanda empty-handed, to the dismay of W'Kabi, one of the tribal heads who lost his parents during the attack. Later, a man named Killmonger shows up at the border with Claw's dead body, claiming to be Wakandan. Turns out, Killmonger is Wakandan royalty. Back in 1992, the Wakandan king killed the spy at the meeting, who also happened to be his brother. The brother also had a son who the king chose to abandon and grew up in America alone. He joined the military and now has come to Wakanda to challenge T'Challa as per tradition and claim the throne. The two fight and Killmonger wins, throwing T'Challa over a waterfall. Killmonger takes the throne and prepares to send Wakandan weapons to cells of Wakandan spies throughout the world so that they can wage war and liberate the oppressed in every nation. Killmonger also consumes the heart-shaped herb, the source of T'Challa's powers, giving him the same abilities. T'Challa's family now flees as they are no longer royalty and head for M'Baku and the Jabari tribe. The Jabari tribe generally stands apart from the rest of Wakanda. When they get there, they find that T'Challa's body has flowed to the Jabari lands and M'Baku has rescued him. After giving T'Challa the heart-shaped herb they took with them, T'Challa recovers from his injuries and they head back to challenge Killmonger again for the throne, as T'Challa is not dead nor did he concede. T'Challa heads back and a big fight breaks out between T'Challa and his royal guards versus Killmonger and the W'Kabi tribe, and Baku later joins the fight and T'Challa's forces win. T'Challa and Killmonger separate and have their own fight, which T'Challa wins after stabbing Killmonger in the heart. The movie ends with T'Challa back on the throne and abandoning the isolationist policies of the past and participating in the world and willing to show how powerful Wakanda truly is. Here are some takeaways that come up in later films. There are many important supporting characters in this movie that I neglected to mention. In no particular order, there is Nakia, a spy and longtime friend and romantic interest of T'Challa, Okoye, head of the royal guard, Shuri, T'Challa's sister, and Ramonda, T'Challa's mother and queen of Wakanda. With Boseman's death, Black Panther 2 will seemingly elevate these characters into co-protagonists, so expect to see a lot more of them in the future. Wakanda also plays a huge role in many Marvel films that followed Black Panther, so this movie has particular importance to the overall MCU. Anyways, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed making it. If you liked what you've seen here, please like, comment, and subscribe.